I'm going to piggyback off of Joe's rant last week, and I want to give my coach's perspective, and I want to give a kudos to Sheldon Keefe for finally, doing something that he said he wasn't a big fan of, yet finally had to lay down the law, and in a win, which I was actually even more impressed with, found the need to sit Michael Nylander for some deficiencies that he saw in his game, not morely from the offensive side, but more from his body language, which was translating into some poor defensive work.
Sorry to cut you off, Frank. It's William Nylander, not Michael. Michael's been benched.
Did I call him Michael Nylander?
You did. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
Good player though. But yes, thank you. Sorry, Willie Nylander. I will say that again, I'm definitely not a William Nylander hater. I really like him. I like his contract, but I really like what Keefe is starting to do in terms of, massaging his way with this lineup. But I will caution you this, and this is coming from a coach. And I'm not telling Keefe what to do and how to coach, but a coach is a coach, whether it's professional, whether it's amateur, is understanding that you have to gain the respect of the room. And now you've gone and benched William Nylander for some of the things he's done that's glaring, but at the same time, too, he's now you think that he's learned his lesson by making this move. You now have to have that same accountability. And I love that word accountability because I've always used that when I've tried to coach, is using that same accountability across the board. Whether you're making 60 million, 50 million, whether you're making 700,000, you have to now have that same accountability across the roster, or else you will lose that room. And that's important because you can't show favorites, but you also can't pick on the same guy over and over. You do that, you will lose the room. And especially how fragile this Leafs team is going into the playoffs. They haven't won a round since God knows when. You now need a unified room, knowing that William Nylander is no different than Jimmy Vesey. Jimmy Vesey should be no different than Mitch Marner when you're talking about accountability. I'm not talking about stats. I'm not talking about their position in the league. I'm not talking about being a generational player. I'm talking about how that room views the coach. And somebody like Sheldon Keefe, who hasn't won anything at the pro level, needs to establish himself as a player's coach. There is no better way to do that than using this as the perfect example of saying, guys, I've done it once. You guys are all accountable for the same thing. And I hope that runs true, because if he keeps sitting William Nylander for the same thing over and over and doesn't do that for Mitch Marner, who has trouble clearing pucks on penalty killing, doesn't do the same thing for John Tavares for not bearing down in front of the net or losing his guy in front of the net on the defensive zone, leading to goals, it's only going to get worse in that room. And that's how you have a divided room. And that's something that this room doesn't need going into a first-round playoff matchup, likely being the number one seed in that division. So I'm giving kudos to Sheldon Keefe, but also a warning. Now that you've made that move, there's no turning back. Keep the foot on the pedal. Stick with the accountability, but make sure it's even across the room. Your players will respect you for it. They will go through a wall for you. Don't turn back. That's it.
We always like and enjoy the coach's perspective, bringing in the coach's perspective on what's going on, coaches' decisions in the major leagues of the four professional sports.